Recently, the UPtownNYC team visited the Gunhill Brewery in the Gunhill section of the Bronx. We wanted to sit down with the owners to discuss a little bit more about how this dream that was born on the baseball diamond in the amateur leagues became a reality right here in the Bronx.
We had a teammate who was a home brewer, and he brewed his own beer at his wedding, for his wedding. And I went to his wedding, and I had said to him at the wedding, I think your beer is really good. Have you ever thought about trying to sell it? And he's like, oh, I have, but I just don't have the time to do it. I said, well, if you ever change your mind, let me know. I'd love to be involved and try and figure out a way to help you. Gunhill Brewing Company was actually one of the names we had on our short list already. So when we came to this space and said, okay, we're going to do it, we kind of said, that's a pretty obvious sign that Gunhill has to be the name of the brewery.
New York has had a long and rich history in the microbrewery industry, but it's also had its troubles. Things like crop shortages and brewery closures have seen a decline in the industry. The Gunhill Brewery leads a revival of that industry, and we wanted to know how the New York microbrewery industry is regaining its foothold.
The state has done a really good job to try and promote the growth of local agriculture and local crops. So we're not quite there yet, but we're at a point now where you're seeing more and more breweries are using as much local as possible.
New York brewers, especially the microbrewers, have to work together to compete against the big guys. I wanted to know a little bit more about what's that like, how do they work together, and how do they help support each other, especially against these big brands.
The producing breweries in New York City and some of the contract brewers that are based in New York City, we meet about once a month to talk about issues that we all face, to try and promote the local beer scene and craft beer in general here in New York City. It's not as much of a, I'm not going to tell these guys this or tell them that because I'm worried they're going to steal something. It's like, I think what I do is great. I think what you do is great. You want to ask me a question? Sure, I'll tell you, because I might do it slightly differently than you do, and so we're going to have a different twist on it. So it's a lot more about helping each other out.
The brewery recently started a brand new venture called the Gunhill Tavern, a cool little bar located right next to the brewery.
And the tavern is still new. It's only 6 months old, so we still have a lot to do down there. A lot of people still to learn about that place. And even still, there are a lot of people that need to learn about here. Even in the Bronx, there are still plenty of people that don't know that we're here or don't know that the tavern exists. I mean, yesterday was the tavern's 6-month anniversary.
The Gunhill area has a rich history, which is reflected in the name of the brand.
So it's something themed to the American Revolution or the war period. So proclamation has to do with a proclamation, an announcement or something. We have some beers on, well, like Spirit 76, our Pilsner. Obviously it has to tie in with 1776. The original punks, one of our original graphic designer, he had this concept that the revolutionaries were the original punks, the original people that were trying to start a movement. And so we decided to, last year, name a beer called the Original Punks, and it was a beer that we had aged on a special kind of yeast that had a little bit of funk to it, that was just something different.
Small businesses always struggle with marketing, and this is no different in this type of industry.
There's so many events in general, so many festivals in the summer.
So we discussed strategies which help microbreweries promote their brands.
Putting on New York City Craft Beer Week every winter. And also we put on a festival in the fall called Blocktoberfest. So the idea behind all that is to try and promote, work together, cross-promote one another, rep each other's brands. So we try and do it around like an Oktoberfest.
So being a young business, we felt compelled to find out where we can find their products.
We're in every borough right now. We're in the whole state, all the way up as far west and north as Buffalo. So if you're in New York, chances are you can find our beer.